Today is July 4th, 2026. Today we celebrate our nation's freedom. 250 years of being free. Our Constitution that governs over all of us. Federal laws that protect each and every.
That phrase captures the ideal of democracy, a system where governing power is derived from and serves the entire citizenry.
That protects each and every U.S. citizen from people trying to pull a fast one. And it keeps everybody honest. When they formed our country, the basis, we were under the control of England. And they took people's homes, their businesses. And when we won our freedom, they wrote the Constitution that everyone would be treated honestly, and laws that stuff like that would never happen again. And everyone would be equal under the law. And these people that are running this scam, for everything that they do, I can put what is the jail sentence, and they come up federal crimes. Federal crimes. Can't do any of it. Biggest scam in the world. See, that's where their scam is Twilight Zone. You can tell crackheads did it. That girl showing up June 26, 26, okay, down in Dutch Valley Restaurant. Carl and I are sitting in a booth, and there's a half wall. She can't see us. And she makes a public scene. And I'd like to know, why would you help something like that? Why would you even help something like that? There's like not enough dirty words for some psychotic moron thinking she's funny. Coming in there, it's my family doing this. They're stealing everything from me because she's a faker and we're teaching her a lesson. And because she's a faker and they're going to steal everything from her for me. The drug dealers we hired to do this to her found out that they taped her in the bathroom, washing herself in the shower. Photoshop that in the other room to make her look weird with herself, to make fun of her. Ha 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 ha! Why would you help that? And then she starts admitting to stalking me and my husband in our home. I watch her sleep. She's not allowed to watch me sleep. Now, I told you I had degenerative joint disease. My legs were crooked. I had I was like pigeon-toed when I was younger, and my legs weren't aligned right. Later on, it causes arthritis. And so my knees will pop out of place. If I walk a lot, it keeps the muscles tight and it happens less. But with everything going on, I haven't been able to get and walk like I used to. Well, I've been working a lot, and I work midnights. I can sleep if the client sleeps. And there's been a lot of times he's not been sleeping, so I haven't been sleeping, and then upset over this. I was so tired on my night off. I curled up on the couch and I faced it. I didn't move for 4 hours. I didn't even roll. I laid on my one side while my one knee popped out of place. I woke up in excruciating pain. Couldn't even move my leg. It took, and I didn't want to wake up Carl in the other room. And I'm like, and it took everything in me to roll my body over, take my other leg and try to pull the blanket up high against my behind, and then take and pull my leg up that was out of place and lay it on top of that blanket. Then breathe, 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 breathe. Excruciating pain. And then again, get it up higher, and then it went right back in place. And I just laid there while the muscles so they would relax, and took a few minutes. Excruciating pain. She was faking. I seen it. She's a faker. I am not a faker, and you're a freaking retard. A psycho bitch and a retard. And who the hell would help a freaking moron like you? You know, I was doing some different research on different things when I was born in 1967. The doctor was a crackpot back then, and he gave my mother ether during delivery, knocked her out, used forceps. He made an excuse that I was trapped underneath her tailbone, and basically like ripped me out of her body. While I'm laying in the nursery, they said I couldn't even swallow. Had big bruises down my face. It misaligns your spine. It causes your legs to be pigeon-toed. It also can cause you to have trouble with your nerves in your body that causes my muscles to, like when I had all that trauma, they clenched. My birth is what caused everything. My mother was so bad, she lost a lot of blood, and she was out way over 12 hours, wouldn't wake up. My mom said that my dad had told her he was panicking. After 12 hours, she wouldn't move. She didn't move. He was shaking her. He was smacking her face. Come on, Joel, you can't leave me with all these kids. Don't you leave me. And he's panicking. And she's unresponsive. And it kept up. And the trauma of what that doctor did to her. He almost killed me and my mother when I was born. My mom said that they said my grandma finally showed up hours and hours later. And she went in and she started talking to her. She finally responded to her mother's voice. But she was out for almost a day. Another lady investigator showed up. That doctor almost killed her and her mother when she was born. That idiot doctor. If you use ether on a woman delivering, you have to resuscitate the baby. It goes lethargic. So basically, he killed me. I had to resuscitate. And then I couldn't swallow from him pulling on my neck so hard. He could have killed both of us. was telling Carl about it in the car the other day. Took everything in me not to cry. Kept looking up, just thinking about that. As she just lay there lifeless almost. Lady investigator said she was almost. We listened to what happened to her mom when that idiot doctor did to her when she was having her. Her mother almost went comatose. They wouldn't have got her out. Yeah. And so it explains more. Doing more research of, when I was little, probably about 7, my muscles in my neck locked up. I had an infection went in my neck and my neck locked up. Was in the hospital for a while. Couldn't figure out why, and then they unlocked. And it's because if you have trauma in the nervous system, your muscles can clench for a little while. And see, that's where I got degenerative joint disease. Your knees will pop out of place, they'll lock for a minute. And this idiot girl, I want to know why on earth would anybody help that retard? Her down there cackling. This heavyset white lady showed up Memorial Day weekend 2019 for it's my daughter her husband dates. And it's for my daughter. They did all this for her. And it's our family watching her doing this. Where that idiot girl showed up. It's my family doing this. And they're stealing all for me. And because she's a faker. I'm not a faker. And there's not enough dirty words in the book to call you. You're a fucking retard. You and your messed up family. I did research on female serial killers. Okay? They are psychopaths. They only care about their self. They don't care who they hurt. They don't have sympathy, empathy, or remorse. All they care about is themselves. They're sadists. They enjoy inflicting pain on other people. And they're victims of child abuse. And they hurt other people or kill them for profit. Or a sexual high that they can hurt someone else. Why would you help someone cackling like that? And why? If they pull July 26, I'm sorry, not July. I'm tired. June 26, 26. June 26, 26. Dutch Valley Restaurant. By the bathrooms, there was an idiot blonde lady. She has to be pretending she's a psychiatrist because she's saying stuff in there about, and because no real psychiatrist would act like that dingbat. She's probably that girl's family member. Of course, my family doing this. Another family member. Dingbat. In December of 18, like, what was it, 16th? Something like that. I met Darlene for pie down at Bob Evans in Belden. I go in, and there's a guy as big as a lumberjack. White, bald, red beard, black square glasses, sitting with a crazy blonde lady, that blonde lady. And there's 4 men sitting off to the side. One's the white-haired guy with his hair parted on the side. He goes, I'm Kieran's handler. Those are my men, easy boys, and white-haired guys like this. And he said that he's a real big Kieran fan. He watches her and Kieran in bed for hours. Or Kieran and Dave in bed for hours. Psycho? She's like, I'm a psychiatrist. She's a dingbat. They're all actors. They were the ones that showed up the first week of January of 19, were admitting to be doing the attack where they bashed in my head. They admitted they tried to kill me. She was with killers. She would show up. If she tells on Dave for beating her, we'll say she hurt herself. I thought, don't play with me, bitch. I'm not in the mood. So I went around and taped Dave, admitting to beat me several times. She'd say something else stupid. I'd go out and get my own witness. And I tape it and I debunk it. She's no psychiatrist. She's that girl's family. Carl came out of the bathroom. I was sitting there on a love seat, okay, and with our drinks. We had like a Diet Coke and a water to go. She's in the hallway with another lady. He comes out. I said, see that lady over there, that older blonde lady. He said, I see her. I said, she's a really bad person. Part of the original FBI case. Do you understand? She's a really bad person. I have to go to the bathroom. We're out in the middle of nowhere before we leave. And I need you to realize she's part of the FBI case, really bad person. I go to walk by her in the hallway. She's like, well, we found out what kind of jail sentence will I get if you try to enter the tape of weird with yourself. Did you miss the dingbat confessing in front of everyone that the drug dealers you hired to do this photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room? That's why nobody knew about it. Oh, people were complaining everywhere. These people showed the login so everybody knows. That girl cackling. You know, Sheriff David, Mike DeWine's cousin, I went out to eat with him a couple times. He said that Michelle they talk about that your ex was dating, she's got daddy issues. I said, I thought, go, gold digger. And he said, well, that too. I said, then what do you mean? He said, for her to find, he said, it's one thing if a man cheats. It's another thing when the woman that he's cheating with, that the wife don't even know she exists, has people hurt the wife and she don't know where it's coming from. She's got daddy issues. Otherwise, she'd find it repulsive, anybody hurting you. Her father had to rape her as a child repeatedly until he made her evil. That's why she enjoys having people harm you. He made her evil. He said it's a study in jails with these women that hurt people and kill them. They've all been abused and sexually abused by their father. That's where that study on female serial killers. They're victims of child abuse themselves. Her father made her evil. She's the one on September 30th, 25. I had heard from those people, the drug cartel people that walk around and say stuff. She was sitting around laughing how they fooled everybody into helping out. And it got back to where they said the guy's running it. Pissed them off. They sent a biker down September 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning. So the police would have her confession. He's yelling at her, the guy's running it, said no one's allowed to say a word to her again in her life. They found out this whole thing was your family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? Yes. And does she even know who you are? No, I don't want her to know who I am. She doesn't even know who you are, and you had her skull bashed in, her raped and tortured because you're in debt to drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. And he said, I listened to her and her friend Matt talk on January 13th, 23. The Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life because they thought he let all those people be human trafficked. And it was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. And your family even human traffic people to pay off those debts to drug dealers. Yes, I'm sorry. She sold children for sex slaves and to be murdered. And she's sorry. Female serial killer. Okay? He said, found out it was your family inciting her new husband's family that they want to threaten his life to steal his farm. Well, yeah, but I really wanted it. I like it. Like, it makes it okay. And he said, did you know the original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything by August of 23? Yeah, I knew that. Do you know they confronted her ex-husband if he knew it was medication errors, medical malpractice, and fraud that made her sick before? And they encouraged them to sue those doctors for years? She's like, yeah, I knew that. So she knew everything was fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. While she's down there screaming faker. See the ridiculous thing of there's a doctor from before that was willing to talk to him. Well, that's 20 years in federal prison. None of your doctors could ever talk about you without your consent. They cannot release your medical records. That's HIPAA, and it is a federal law that governs over the right of privacy in your medical. That is 20 years. A doctor cannot be in it with your husband, working for him, saying anything about you, or writing up fraud. They can get 20 to more life. They can never say anything, even to your husband, about you without your consent. They can't be in it with your husband. They can't be in it with anybody else and say a word about you. Nor could they hire a doctor to watch me. That is another, 10 years? And then on top of it, stalking. They can't hire doctors. That's where this retard and her retarded family have made up the biggest, craziest lies and fooled so many dumbass people. It's ridiculous. See, that's where even last Sunday, June 28th, 26th, all right, I'm in Carrollton. Some heavy-set white guy shows up. He said, I thought they were making fun of you. He said, I found out what's going on. No, this is funny. Well, I think he was up outside my client's talking to a guy. I found out what's going on. No, this is funny. I found out there's a real FBI case. He said, I already told Melissa there was no evidence. There was nothing you could do about it. Well, they're mean jokes. He said, and I found out the police and the FBI during a case taped her friends with that girl that they're doing all this for. And them telling the kids a lie. And the kids stating that they made everything up. And they were games of pretend. And they wanted the house for that girl. And everything for that girl. He said, I found out some ladies waiting to arrest Melissa as soon as she put her name on it. He said, I know about that lady. She's ready to pounce. She's going to arrest her in a heartbeat. He said, then you tell Melissa, since the police and the FBI taped her, telling her kids to lie for that girl to get everything. And they were games of pretend. That's why there's no evidence, because they're games of pretend. She better tell everybody she knows they were only making it up for that girl to get everything, or she's going to end up in jail. Melissa better thank God they're mean games of pretend. where the FBI and police have called her out in several different places, interfering in their investigation. Why are they having those kids make the shit up? Oh, they're trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. Melissa's so stupid she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's that stupid she didn't check where you were. An officer marked Melissa could go to jail for involving herself. Hate to arrest her. Kids are little. Why don't we write it up that they were just showing off for Dave and his girlfriend? They're documenting in games of pretend, as Massillon police told Mount Carmel, Illinois, June 23rd to July 4th of 21. Starr County sheriffs were laughing at some guy named Kurt in May of 21 if he just found out those kids were lying slow. Because they were taped saying, like, January 12th, 22, 4:55 p.m., Officer John stopped men at the door. What did those kids get taped stating? They made everything up. Like Flora, they knew I didn't know because they were two guys that said they worked for a drug lord. Said Melissa was willing to help them get away with this. And she's willing to have the kids lie. No way. I told them to say, so they wanted to find out what was. So they followed her around. Caught her friends with that dingbat, telling the kids a lie, and the kids, they taped them. Saying they made everything up. They were games of pretend. They knew I didn't know. And a year later, October 23rd, 2019, I'm at Burrell's first party. And I said, do you know how mad I was when they said the house wasn't meant for Grandma? It was meant for Auntie Cheryl and Papa. Grandma, need to get out. Flora's like, that's not what they said. They said this. It was filthy. Josh was like, ooh, don't say that again. That's not true. Well, of course it's not true. Of course it never happened. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Sitting down, sucking her lips in. I would have spanked them all. You don't do that. If Flora wouldn't have stated it, I would have never known. And they knew that. Now, I want you to think about this. Where they said, even investigators, they ought to be ashamed sitting around laughing, making up stuff behind Karen's back. Well, she's risking her life to get information on these people, trying to save her family's life, and they're sitting around laughing, making up stuff behind her back. They ought to be ashamed. Some lady said, when I said stuff about that Henry Moffitt showing up, where he said the officers that watch her only watch her because they feel sorry for her. And it's like, they like me. There's a quarter. You talk to the officers and the agents that actually work my case, they'll tell you it's a drug scam. Like that girl said, they hired drug dealers to do it. And the ones that worked my case, when I was living through them almost shooting me, driving, had to hide on a shooting night, faced 6 stalkers, drugged till I lost 70 pounds, induced vomiting till my stomach shifted, got a damaged rib cage, damaged shoulder, damaged intestines from being beat, a dent in my head. I'm lucky to be alive. Was raped, was tortured. Well, they got information and surveillance on those drug dealers and the drug cartels that were here that helped out. And Dave had threatened to kill everyone. It was over my dead body. You'll get caught going after me. You know, some of the investigators, she's amazing. She has no training and she lived through all this. They'll tell people it's ridiculous for any child to be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good in love. Karen doesn't have it in her to hurt anybody. May 28th, 24, Myers, North Maine, a lady came in, talked to the police that work her case. They said it's ridiculous for anybody to insult her. She almost died to save children. They always knew she was drugged and told to say it before. They knew that tape of weird with yourself was photoshopped of washing in the shower, and the whole thing was a scam. It's ridiculous for anybody to ever insult her. She almost died to save everyone. Where my one friend Walter worked at the Starr County Prosecutor's Office at one point, he said, Karen, you don't realize you have a lot of great favor with a lot of officers. Help him work that FBI case. Some of them, when I'd have a horrible day of them chasing off stalkers, blocking them from trying to grab me, scuffles, and they won't let them in the aisle. I get home alone and I would thank them because I know they can hear me. And some investigators said we never had anybody thank us. That's our Karen. We take turns taking care of her. They think very highly of me, and the ones that showed up and chased those people off and blocked them from grabbing me, they know they'll always have my heartfelt gratitude. I wouldn't be alive. So, but Melissa better, thank God, they're just mean jokes. Nobody went to the hospital. No police report. No pictures of injuries. No treatment for injuries. They're mean jokes to scare me into giving up my house. That's all they are. That's where if your child got hurt, but it got hurt, you would have, if you don't take it to the hospital, you don't call the police, go to jail as an accessory. Carl's granddaughter, my new husband, her husband was abusing their 4-year-old. She didn't report him. And she went to jail as an accessory. And he's in jail the rest of his life. And now when she has a baby, the state takes it. She can't be trusted because she didn't report someone. She would have went to jail as an accessory. And they're that sick, morbid girl in there cackling. Them having those drug dealers. Years ago, they would show up and start yelling stuff at me. People around me yelled at them. She doesn't even remember you. What part of amnesia drugs? She'll never remember. You can be as mean as you want, and she'll never remember. So they yelled at me. I went to the bathroom, threw up, and had diarrhea at the same time. I was like double. It was horrible. I went and talked to my neighbor, Jim. He said, are you sure they're not playing you? I said, I never talked to anybody. I never had anybody in my home. I thought the orange well water was toxic and killing me. I said I had giant bruises, severe infection, throwing up, almost passing out, and I thought it was toxic. And I kept telling the doctor that. And he said, Karen, are you sure they're not playing you? I said, well, I talked to my friend Walter, and he said, Karen, somebody was hurting you. Where they laugh at you in front of people in stores, they drugged you and told you to say it before, they probably did. You had all the signs of being drugged, being raped. Even though nobody thought of a rapist, somebody was hurting you. They probably did. We all know you're sleepwalking with those drugs. When they laugh at you, they photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room. They probably did. Just clicking and pasting. The whole thing's a fraud scheme. See, that's where she better thank God. Thank God. They're just mean jokes. Do you know, under the law, if you have your kids pretend something happened to them, okay, and nothing happened to them, trying to extort money and get somebody in trouble is 20 years. Officer Mark was generous, letting her go. Generous. And then think about where the bitch move of drugging me up and telling me to say something horrible. It's sick. And see, that's where they said they set up my kids to be arrested. Then they went around offering people tens of millions of dollars, extorted money from the government if you say something bad about her. They were never going to get the money. They were just trying to pull off their scam. Buying witnesses. Like they said, these people got caught buying witnesses. My son, John, Thanksgiving of 18, when I asked him what's going on, he said he didn't know. He had told Melissa, his ex-wife, they'd just been divorced a few months, that I was going to be moving out, going through a divorce, but she'll have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Okay? And he said, she'll probably have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. It's just being made up because of the divorce. I said, you shouldn't have said anything until it happened. But I did, and since I did, and nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. He asked me a couple years later to pick up his 3 kids from school and to babysit them and be a reliable name on a court record to watch them after school because he was going to go for custody. I couldn't help him. I didn't get off my first job, let alone my second job. And I told him, I said, I barely make it now. I am so sorry. I can't help you. But Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. And he said, I need you to be that reliable name on a court record so I can get custody, that you'll be the one babysitting. And I said, John, I'm so sorry. I can't help you. He lost his kids. He moved to Florida. And he met another woman, got married. They started a church and had a baby. Looks happier than ever. Had to get away from that occult. Okay. June 3rd, 23. Okay. My son, John, amazingly smart. He is an electrician. He was a union rep. And he had several offices. Has thousands of contacts. He also taught college, the vocational college, to be an electrician. He also was a manager in several businesses. He has thousands of contacts. He told them all, or a good part of them. I pull in a gas station June 3rd, 23. Some electrician's vans pull in. And that John's mom, he said that she's never hurt anyone. And because of these people, he may never see his mother again. And that's his mom. And it's just because of those people. And he said she's never hurt anybody. I know, and that's his mom. And they were upset. See, that's where investigators said John was running around telling everyone, my mom's never hurt anyone. Now, think about this. Where their bitch move of what they have break from that sick, psychotic girl, having those drug dealers do it because she thinks it's funny. Ha, 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 ha. Because it's for me to get everything. That sick, psychotic girl, having those drug dealers do it to me. Dave would have went to jail. Google it right there. Dave would have went to jail. If something would have bad happened to our kids, he didn't report it, he would have went to jail. And then the doctor would have, where they're trying to say, oh, doctor recorded a report. It's a federal crime for a doctor to tape you unaware. Where they made up a doctor taping her unaware, confessing her crimes, and until Dave wanted a divorce. There's like 30 years in federal prison, you idiot. And any doctor asked me of a crime, I'd scream at them and report them, get their license pulled. Won't put up for that kind of shit. Like they said, anybody would have screamed at him. It's nonsense. And any doctor not reporting somebody being harmed, they go to jail as an accessory if they could prove it. And then, yeah, being it with Dave's HIPAA, keeping somebody, a patient unawares, HIPAA, another 10. Another made up sick scenario from that idiot girl and her drug friends. For her to get everything. Psycho. Well, it's just like they try to frame Danny and Jen. Oh, getting back to John, July 26, 25. An investigator from 18 showed up. We were at Bob Evans, and some idiot people for that idiot girl came in and said something. Well, I went off. Then I started talking to a waitress. I'm really going off. Went over to Walmart 62 between 8 and 10 in the morning. That investigator walks in. He said, I told that couple never to say a word to her again in her life. I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing bad ever happened to him. Oh, the investigators even found Dr. Haben, the kid's pediatrician. 1984 to 2002. 18 years. He seen them for their yearly checkup and then, 3 or 4 times a year for colds, bronchitis, whatever they had. Seen him 3 or 4 times a year for 18 years. There was no sign of any abuse, no sign of neglect, and very well taken care of. MD doctor proof of a doctor actually seeing him. There was no sign of any abuse, neglect, and very well taken care of. She's just sick. That girl is mentally sick, having people and drug dealers do this to you. They try to frame Danny and Jen that they were part of the shower scene in the other room. They didn't know anything about it. And on Christmas Eve of 22, I asked him, I said, do you know where they kicked in the door on the 6th day while we were out? When Dad said it was a realtor passing out keys, don't report it. I remember him saying that. I said, did you know about body cameras? No. Did you know they were taping in the bathroom? No. I said, did you know about a shower scene in the other room of washing myself? They're supposed to have photoshopped in their stocking tapes? No. And they're laughing at me. They photoshopped me washing in the shower to make me look weird with myself in another room, laughing at me in front of people in stores. No, we didn't know anything about it. I said, do you remember the orange, lemon, and grapefruit-sized bruises all over me? Throwing up, dizzy, almost passing out. I remember those. Did you know they were drugging me and supposed to have told me to say weirdo stuff? Laughing at me in front of stores, and they were beating on me. Did you know that was what was causing it? Or I thought it was a well water and I thought it was toxic? And Jen said, I didn't even think about it, Karen. I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I didn't think of someone hurting you. Kids came out of the room and hugged me. Grandma, is that what's going on? We didn't know. Kept going over and asking questions. Okay. April 16th, 23. After Jen's mom, my daughter-in-law's mother, died, they had a memorial service. Went to it. Okay. April 16th, 23. Crossed the parking lot, seen Danny and Jen walk up to Gabe and Shay. Said I finally went to Dad to ask him what on earth is going on. He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. Was Pete and his men in her home before? Pete has a frame, Pete has her tape, the filthy, dirty statement. I've never met him. The name of my rapist. People have been acting like it's Henry Moffey. I don't know. Because people have showed up where January 19th, okay, before the case started, or no, not before, restate. January 19th, 26, okay? We go up to Bob Evans in Fairlawn. And when the case first started, within a month after it started, I had an Instagram account. I got an instant message of, "Hi, I think you're beautiful." It's like, thanks. Something about love on a beach. Something else. I don't know this man from Adam. Okay. People talk, I go to stores and people are talking about him. Then people are showing up saying that they're drug traders and human traffickers from Florida. And they work for Judge Peters. We'll go outside and watch them get in their vehicles. And when they're driving by, I seen a guy look like the picture from Instagram. I don't know him from Adam. Okay? Now I want you to think about this. January 1926. We go on the way up there. These people yelling threats at me for their fraud scheme, they can kiss my ass. And I said that to Carl in the car. Now, people hadn't even mentioned that weirdo in a long time. Thought maybe the cops got him, maybe he took off. Nobody even talks about him. And didn't know he was listening. And I told Carl, I said, these people threatening me, yelling threats in stores, they need to realize I'm an FBI informant. And they can kiss the FBI's ass. They can't touch me. They can kiss FBI agent John's ass. They can kiss the judge, Stark County judge's ass that signed the court order. And they can kiss my government-protected, government immunity informant ass. They can't touch me. And I turn on MC Hammer. You can't touch us. We're dancing around the car a little bit, goofing off, blowing off some steam. Oh, it pissed him off. He came in. He was in there with a guy. Pissed. He confessed. January 1926. He said, seeing her dance around the car like a little kid with her new husband. The officers that watch her for the case only watch her because they feel sorry for her. They like me. There's a court order. He said, I'm the one that got a hold of her online. I thought you looked like the picture, but thinner. Now I'm watching him talk to this guy real loud. He said, with those text messages, I proved she was cheating. That's not cheating. That's you being a weirdo. He said, I tell all men she's not good enough for another man, and I'm glad I never met her in person. I thought, fuck you, you went and got a pity date. He said, I'm the one that told her new husband's family I'd steal everything for them. Found out his son was down there vandalizing stuff on the farm. Told him to stay out of it. I'll steal everything for them. You can't steal from people. It's extortion. Twit. And he said, I found out the other Michelle is telling on us for what we're actually doing. But they can't use it. She's in another team. They can use it, and you just confessed, you twit, for what we're actually doing. The March 27th, 25, an FBI agent was outside my work. He was talking to someone that he had broke up with, that other Michelle. When she confessed to him that the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied, he was one of my doctors, and she actually don't know who he is. And when they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent. And it didn't work. April 17th, 25, Carl seen her. She's real pretty. She's got long blonde hair. She's having a meltdown in She's parking lot. I called the police up there, and they told me how dumb was I to confess to that guy that the doctor from before was not one of hers, worse for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. And when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her, leave her incompetent. It didn't work. And as soon as I told that guy, he broke up with me, and I really liked him, and I want to marry him. And they said that he's an agent, and she's some kind of informant, and we all got out in jail for this. And I really liked him. Well, they threatened to kill her for telling on him. And I don't even know her. I've only seen her. And I'm so proud of that girl. Her and her friends went badass. They threatened to kill her. And anytime they found out anything, they went to investigators. December 1st, 25, an investigator shows up at Walmart 62. Saying Michelle showed up at my office, said this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved, and that the doctor from before was not one of hers, worse for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. Okay? And that guy Pete running his mouth about her. She don't even know who he is. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own. And they admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. She has no memory of those people. Y'all could be playing me for as I know. I thought the well water was giving me cancer. I never had anybody in my home. And I thought these freaks stuck in my house and drugged me up and beat raped me. I don't know who did it. For that psycho girl thinking she's funny. And that tape of Weird with Yourself is nothing but photoshopped or washing in the shower, and the whole thing's a scam. So where Henry Moffey confessed, the other Michelle's telling on what they're actually doing. Oh, right, yeah, upside down the other. He said, I have a judge's friend that will enter my tapes in court without the FBI while they're busy with Minnesota. Turn all the cases' money over to me, and I'll be long gone and steal all the money for myself and pull a fast one on the FBI. I thought over my dead body. I wrote the president. You ain't getting a fucking damn dime. Now, neither is that crazy bitch. Now, if you put them things together, that's father and daughter because it's for her family and he's the one doing it. Okay? So that's his baby girl, the psycho bitch. But Dave told Danny it was just some guy named Pete did it, not a doctor. Where that girl said they hired drug dealers. August 22nd, 23, Officer Monk was telling her lady, none of this is funny. The FBI left her up there and we weren't allowed to tell her. She had no protection. And somebody was telling people that no one was allowed to help her. We don't even know who started that one. Probably the crazy bitch. And he said we went back through all the surveillance. Everything Karen said happened. Everybody feels horrible for what she lived through. And it was a drug cartel in her home before we seen him. He said I would even sign an affidavit to it. He said it's also documented, verified it was a medication error that made her sick before. And another woman was using her insurance. She's like, no, this is funny. He said, I know it's not. See, Carl was sick last night. I had to take him to the emergency room. You know, I heard people in there talking. And, you know, it just, when people realize how dumb this is, and then think about this, where Some doctor's supposed to be for my ex-husband saying bad stuff about me or with them. They can't, except it's fraud. They can't have a doctor involved. It's a federal crime. See, these people are such fucking retards. They don't even realize they can't do it. It's a federal crime. But they're too stupid. And see, that's where investigators were afraid years ago. With all the medical fraud I had, where they gave me all the wrong meds, um, falsely diagnosed me, massive body swelling, thyroid, adrenal glands shut down, seizures, heart attacks. And it took another doctor to tell on them that it was a medication doing it. And it's all wrote up as fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. All fraud. That one of those fraud doctors, or any of them, wouldn't it just been medical negligence? That they made a bunch of mistakes, but it was attempted murder. That they were actually in it with Dave and Nicole to do it. See, none of my doctors could have talked to Dave. They're only allowed to work for their signed. You have to see. That's where doctors. They can't have a doctor say anything about me. It's fraud. It's healthcare fraud. They're not my doctor. They don't have a right to have an opinion on me. Can't say a word. See, but these people are too dumb. See, where that guy had showed up and then showed up in Carrollton, then showed up outside my client's house, telling Melissa, "You were taped." Tell her she was taped, telling her kids to lie for that girl to get everything. And her kids were taped saying they were lying for that girl to get everything. They were making everything up. She better tell everybody that, or she'll go to jail. See, that's where they offer people money and then run around with their lies. Do you realize the police and the FBI taped John? Nothing bad ever happened to him. What did they tape him? That I never heard anyone. Asked me to be a reliable name on a court record to babysit his kids. Like those lady investigators showed up. We found out her whole family, none of them knew what was going on. And they all defended her. Found out John was running around telling everyone she never hurt anyone. See, that's where they said, oh, they set up her kids so could be arrested. Found out that where they said bring in the other John to get away with it. In 18, there was a guy about 4 inches taller, walked by, full beard like John had at the time, put his nose up in there. I thought you did look like my kid, but bigger. Carl seen him May 26th, or May 24th, 26th. May 24th, 26th at Myers, North Main. I said, remember that story of the other John? I said, that guy looks just like him, but he looks like he's shaved. He said, he does look like the picture of your son. We go in, he's in with a white girl with black hair. He walks up to me and goes, how did it go years ago? Oh, yeah. I thought, oh, my God, it's you. She gets on the phone and she said, how dumb were they bringing the pretend John in front of the police and feds? So they knew the whole thing was a scam on her. Oh, they were making fun of her because Agent John stole her money. See, that's where the cartel, if I don't, where they bragged a year ago, where that agent does, what is a jail sentence for an FBI agent? If he tells an informant if they say anything, they don't get their money. It's blackmail. And it's the freedom of speech. First Amendment. No one can take it away. The only time even a judge can put a gag order on you is in a jury trial. No other time. Can't sign it. No one can take your freedom of speech away at all. It's blackmail, it's obstruction of justice, tampering with a witness, crime against the U.S. government because it's extortion out of government funds. 20 to life. What is the jail sentence for a judge signing it? 10 to 20. And the judge is made to pay the informant back that money. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent if he tells an informant if they say anything? They won't have protection. It's attempted murder, aiding and abetting crimes, obstruction of justice, and tampering with a witness. What is a jail sentence? And it's 20 or 30 years. What's jail sentence for a judge signing it? About 10 to 20. You put them together. What is a jail sentence for a judge signing court order with such things? Life imprisonment. See, it can't even be signed. It was only bullying me. And that's where these people were laughing, like last year, where they wanted that agent to explain himself, that they were going to get the case thrown out. That agent told on her for calling the hotline before he talked to her. He bullied her on a record line, admitted he had everybody in his office. Everybody knew. He made her beg for her life. He listed her informant with money and immunity, threatened her, and he don't even have the authority to ask anybody to stay quiet, and it's illegal. It's a federal crime. And then he left her there and stole her money. He was defrauding the whole time. He had no legal right around her. And she's either a paid informant, and they stand up for that case, or we'll get it thrown out. And they've already started. September 10th, 25, I told you about the white guy with black hair showed up in 18. And Walmart walked by me saying, shorter white guy, walked by doing a mean stompy man dance, walking by saying crazy crap, and investigators standing near me. Now that him and his drama's gone, he can deal with his drama himself. We don't feed in a religious heresy. You tell all those guys to follow everybody they hired to hurt her, and we'll get him. The drama guy. September 10th, 25. Tuscarawas County Courthouse. I'm in the prosecutor's office. There's a guy behind the door. I want her to hate her husband. I want her to have nothing when I'm done with her. Out walks a white man with black hair, short, like the other guy. Stopping it. It took me months to realize that's the guy they call drama. Judge Lori, we were trying to get a restraining order against my new husband's second wife's kids. They're not even his. They're grown. They've stole money. They have beat on him. They have sexually assaulted him. And Agent John, they said that was you in that courthouse with an opposing attorney where Judge Lori, said an officer was there, called her the biggest liar. There was no one around her, and everybody's to get even with her. It's illegal for a law enforcement to get even with you. Now, where you told the Apostolic Church of Barberton you knew I was being drug, beat, and raped the night before we talked. You didn't care because some idiot called me a faker. They were complaining about you. Can you imagine an agent saying that? On a recorded line, you knew they were trying to kill me because that idiot Strange called me a faker when he thought I was following Tim and Katie. You know, I told you how I got sick, how I got well. And it's 4 months after I got well. Did he make up that line? He only made it up because he thought I was following Tim and Katie. It was Linda following her husband. And it's 6 months after a traffic accident I had nothing to do with. Only made it up to get rid of me real quick. He made it up. And it was 15 years before the case started. And even that family that lost their kid in that traffic accident, On March 27, 25, an FBI agent got out of them. They were all lying to the FBI to help them get away with this. They were in there to rob them. They were all, it didn't even concern them. Him calling her a faker, Lisa's father killed her kid. She wasn't even there. They were just lying to help these people. Shame on you. How that evil twit girl, the psycho girl, March 20th, 26, an investigator from 18 comes into Walmart West House by the electronics. Said he hadn't found one bit of this funny since an FBI agent showed up in his office and told him that they were all lying to the FBI, that it offended him. Strange calling her a faker, that it didn't even concern him. They were all lying to help out in this. Unreal. This is just nauseating for that nauseating girl cackling that everybody would steal for her. Why would you even do anything for that girl? She is such a freak and a weirdo. Why would you even help something like that? She admitted to human trafficking, selling people. She's a killer. She thinks she's funny. But then, people had showed up by March 5th, 26, down in Bell's store, said that that I didn't know that an agent was seen with an opposing attorney. That's a 20-year sentence. They saying bad stuff about me because it throws the case out. And they have been, trying to get the surveillance thrown out. He's actually helping them. Somebody needs to stop Agent John. They were talking on June 28th, 26th in Carrollton that he was down there and called me a liar. And then other people showed up that Agent John had told him it was an attempted murder case. And he thought he deserved my money. And because if I would ever say anything, the FBI was involved. When they found out he told on me, the way he talked to me, it's ridiculous. And he had already told on me and how he talked to me. Nobody found him funny. Someone needs to stop him. My friend Walter said he can get the case thrown out if he convinces someone that the surveillance was not needed, that there was no one around me, that every drug dealer that they got can walk. Because, and if they don't pay you, Karen, every informant's paid. You have to be a paid informant, and they have to stand up for the case. Where the cartel said they either do it or we'll get it thrown out. And for some reason, they don't think they'll go around him. Someone needs to arrest him and take care of it. Telling that there was no one around me. I have tapes of Dave complaining of all the men around me. And the cartels that helped out played a sick game on who paid for the harassment. They got surveillance on several different cartels. The king from Texas, his men, the fentanyl dealer, they're all after. The Kingsman. They got Judge Peters out of Florida, Buffalo, New York, Michigan, California. There was a guy from North and South Carolina, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Georgia human traffickers confessing their crimes like they were unstoppable, and they got them. Well, they left me in hell. And this surveillance is what is gold out of my case. My case, a threat and attempt to lie case for an FBI informant with statements of threat of life, agree to protect someone with money and immunity in a court order for the police and the FBI to surveillance everything around me. And they got him. Thousands went to jail. U.S. Marshals showed up on January 20th, 23 in Worcester, where Maddie's friend knew about my case in the Texas group. 2.5 hours away, got a hold of marshals. Used the case, got 800. Then all the big arrests through the FBI and all those kids they found. Walter said if they don't correct it, and they don't stop him, he can get it thrown out. If he tricks them that there was no one around me. And then you have to get paid, because where they said he was defrauding her the whole time. They can take care of him, but as long as someone in the FBI pays you, and then it seals the deal. They stand up for the case. It's a legitimate case then. That they're not defrauding victims, calling for help. They're not stealing from cases. They're not defrauding people themselves. Then it becomes a legitimate case. They can't do a thing. He said, and they better move swiftly. I'm going to upload this